is Peter Edward Kasich, a U.S. citizen of your country.
Like previous ISIS execution videos, this one features the same black masked killer with a British accent, known as Jihadi John. But Kasich didn't appear kneeling in an orange jumpsuit before he was killed, and he didn't make a statement. The 15-minute video also identifies the militant's location and shows ISIS soldiers executing Syrian officers.
All right, folks, we're all aware of that. And Mike Baker, former CIA covert agent and host of America Declassified on the Travel Channel, is with us. Hello, sir.
Hello
Good to
there.
see you again.
Thank you very much.
This video and Jihad John, it almost makes him sound like a G.I. Joe doll or something.
An action
Why don't they
figure.
just call him, a curse word or something and be done with it?
Yeah, just beep every time they want to refer to him. Just beep.
Yeah, Jihad John.
It would make us actually feel
But
a lot
so
better.
what did we learn, if anything, in your view, from this latest so-called beheading video where I didn't see it, but they had the head there. They didn't actually do it like in the other ones. There was no other American or another next victim present in the video. They told you where they were. They showed the background. What's different?
Right.
What's going on
Well, when this came out, suddenly everybody wanted to parse this thing and figure out, can we read something into it? Well, from an operational perspective, of course, you're looking for clues of location. You're looking for other indicators that may give you some actionable leads to conduct some operations. From a messaging standpoint, it's the same crap as the previous releases. It just, the content's a little bit different. I mean, rest assured, they have probably some of these sitting on a shelf, and they pull them out and use them when they feel it's necessary, or when they want to get a point across, or the timing is right from their perspective. The killing of Peter Kasich and the others that were shown on this video likely occurred a few weeks back.
The Syrians,
the
officers
Syrians
who were
exactly,
executed,
the officer
yeah.
candidates. So that all occurred likely in October. So they've been holding on to this. Frankly, I think what happened here was General Dempsey went over to try to rally our advisors,
Yeah.
and the Iraqi forces. And I think the ISIS looked and said, now's a good time to release this one. And so I don't read too much into it. The fact that people wanted to make a lot of the fact that they weren't trying to hide their identities or their location. Yeah. In part, it's because they've got this territorial integrity. They're feeling more comfortable. Part of it is also that they do want to show that they've got foreigners fighting on behalf of this, because that's a powerful recruiting
People
tool
said it
from
looked
their
like
perspective.
a United Nations of terrorist thugs.
Yeah, this is something we just haven't dealt with in terms of the scope and complexity and the resources that they have.
Too.
Well, and the brutality, I mean, to be fair,
I'm sure there has been brutality like that. It's brutal. They look at the people at the World Trade Center. They either jump to their deaths or disintegrated from the heat.
Right. They've been walking, women and children with bomb belts strapped on them into markets for years now. So that part of it. But I understand what you're saying in terms of just the demonstrating of that brutality through these releases. But there's an element there where I think that they are becoming more and more confident and comfortable in this territorial integrity that they've got, this physical manifestation of a caliphate.
And it's also catching on to a degree. I mean, you look at the hatchet attack here in New York, you look at the beheading in Oklahoma, you look at what happened in the synagogue yesterday. I mean, they didn't just go in with guns or bombs, they went in with meat cleavers, and they butchered their victims. Right. And that, that's a beheading attempt or a dismemberment attempt, which to me, as a novice, shows that kind of a ISIS beheading influence.
Right. Look, we wanted to talk about after the incident in Canada, which followed the incident in Australia,
after left out Canada,
and then New York City. Sure. After all these various things, we wanted to talk about this and lone wolf concept, and so, well,
we have to redefine lone wolf.
We have to redefine lone wolf because, that diminishes what Islamic State, and to be fair, Al-Qaeda, they're all in the same camp, what they're doing with their recruitment effort. And to call it a lone wolf, or to say, look, the guy in New York City was clearly, a psychotic, it doesn't matter to Islamic State's perspective. They don't care whether they get a committed extremist to conduct an operation or they get a psychotic. Whatever it takes, and they don't care where on that spectrum they are, it's a win from their perspective.
Sure, no, absolutely. All right, well, listen, not a great picture you painted, but we like the truth. We don't like to sugarcoat anything.
Yeah, just one day I'd like to come in and talk about something cheery.
Well, your show airs in January, right?
Thank you very much. And they've actually changed the title. It did very well for them the first season. It was a top-rated Sunday show, and because of that, I guess they decided to change the title. Is now World Access.
World Access. Okay, with the one and only Mike Baker. Look for it on the Travel Channel starting in January. We'll see you again. Thank you so much. All right, folks, we're coming back with the editor-in-chief of Truth Revolt. No, actually, we already spoke to Ben Shapiro. We're going to have the Israeli Consul General to New York to speak about what happened yesterday right here after the break, so don't go away. But now let's take a look back at the integration of Arkansas's schools with this American moment.
The 1954 U.S. Supreme Court's decision, Brown versus the Board of Education, declared all laws establishing segregated schools to be unconstitutional. As with the majority of southern cities, Little Rock, Arkansas's Board of Education agreed to comply with the court's ruling. However, Arkansas's Governor Orville Faubus had other ideas.
Units of the National Guard have been and are now being mobilized with the mission to maintain or restore the peace and good order of this community.
President Eisenhower was so disturbed by the governor's decision to completely ignore federal law, he cut short his vacation and returned to the White House to address the nation.
The president's responsibility is inescapable. In accordance with that responsibility, I have today issued an executive order directing the use of troops under federal authority to aid in the execution of federal law at Little Rock, Arkansas.
At the center of the controversy were 9 black students selected by the Little Rock School Board to attend the then all-white Central High School. One of the students, Elizabeth Eckford, arrived at the school separately and found herself confronting an angry crowd of students and bystanders. Suddenly, out of that crowd, as seen here, an older white woman came to her rescue and guided her safely to a bus. Even after the 9 students were admitted to Central High, the year that followed found them being subjected to taunts and abuses, both verbal and physical, by student and parent alike.
Well, I think like if a Spanish or Chinese person came here, it wouldn't be hard to get along with them. It's just that the Negroes are what you might say more different to us than a Spanish person might be.
However, with the admittance of those brave students on the 25th day of September 1957, the precedent had been set, and soon afterward, all of Little Rock schools voluntarily complied with the court's rulings, and planned school segregation became part of a troubled past. For Newsmax TV, I'm Bill Curtis, and this is an American Moment.